Pistons with a trade today.
Here we go.
So who do we go to with Pistons news? The great Rod Beard is with us now. Of course, Rod Beard, former beat writer for the Detroit News, Pistons beat writer, now the assistant sports editor of the Detroit News. You can find him on Twitter at @DetNews Rod Beard. Rod Beard, how are you, my friend?
Gentlemen, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing great, buddy. Thanks for joining us on a Friday. I want to start with your reaction to the trade for Joe Harris.
No, I like it. I think they added an elite-level shooter who's hitting 43% for his career. They don't have anybody like that on the roster.
I love that.
Right, and even if you use your cap space on that, this is a very kind of poor free agency class. I'd rather them do just 1 year of Joe Harris and kick the can down the road until next year when they have some better options than to make a bad signing that they're going to eat a bad contract for the next 4 or 5 years.
Rod,
Go ahead, Bert. Go ahead.
Rod, first of all, what's going on, my friend? It's been a minute since we've talked.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. Definitely can hear you. Hey, check this out. I am in the camp of, hey, look, Monty Williams, one of the biggest reasons why you bring a guy like Monty Williams is you saw the young players get better over his 4 years in Phoenix. So that was one of the reasons I'm excited. You don't have to necessarily make that splash this year, Rod, because this is a year to see Cade come back. How is Cade going to be as a leader in that role? How does Cade work with Jaden Ivey? And then, obviously, you bring in Joe Harris who can shoot. You bring back Bogdanovich. This is a year to see what the Pistons really have. Wiseman, you keep hearing his ceiling. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the year to see what the Pistons have built from then and then next year, or at least halfway through the season, the moves that you may have to make?
Yeah, I think if they had kept Dwayne Casey and just stayed on that course, you could have maybe higher expectations. I think with Monty and him trying to assess this roster, the players, and figure out the fits of all of these in his system, you got to give it another year of grace to figure it out. It may just end up happening very quickly, but I don't think people should have that expectation that this year is the year. It's play-in or playoffs or bust. I think you just really got to let a new coach right-size this roster, figure out the pieces that he wants, and then kind of adjust as you go.
Asar Thompson, pick 5, 2023 draft by the Detroit Pistons. Tell me why that was the right move.
Well, I think you didn't have better options there. If you weren't in the top 3 of this draft, you were going to get a second-tier player. And so they went with the best of that. Instead of trying to make a move that was going to make a big splash or to do something else, they weren't going to be able to trade up for Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson, and certainly not for Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. So you just take the piece that helps your rebuild, and he's not a great offensive player, but defensively they needed help. And I think that you can see the blueprint of what Troy Weaver's trying to do. If you're not getting big impact players, let's address specific needs. You needed a perimeter defender. You needed three-point shooting. He's done that already in the draft and now in the first stages of free agency.
Gotcha. Rod, I got a two-parter here for you. The first one is, do you see Bagley and Bohan staying here with the Pistons?
No, I think those are going to be the big questions now. Joe Harris doesn't really fit with the roster in terms of a starter, but I think they start to look at some other options where Bojan, you might be able to get some future draft capital for him, or you may be able to get another player who you can slide in somewhere else. But you could do a lot worse than adding a Joe Harris. But you've got that glut and that logjam of big men that you can use to try to improve your roster in other ways too.
So if Bagley is not here, if that's a chance to move him, does that give James Wiseman a chance to really blossom from there?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they've gone about as far as they can go with that many big men and trying to split those minutes up. You've got to make some decisions. And if it's not right now, it's in the early part of the season, definitely before the trade deadline. Yeah. That they figure out which direction they want to go with that.
Do you see a free agent that's willing to come here that would help this team? I mean, anyone would help this team. But do you see somebody out there? I know you heard Troy. I'm not going for singles or trying to steal second or whatever the hell he said. He wants to hit a home run. Is there a home run?
I don't think there's a home run in this draft class. You're not getting Harden. You're not getting Kyrie Irving to come here. I mean, Jeremy Grant might have been the best type of player that you would get. This move seems to signal that Cam Johnson is out of the running too. So if there is no home run that you can hit, then, yeah, you just try to move the runners over.
Yep.
Talking to Rod Beard on Twitter at @DetNewsRodBeard. Rod, you know, obviously there doesn't appear to be a home run hitter out there for the Detroit Pistons, but there are players that will help make this team better. Is there somebody that you believe that Troy Weaver has identified? Remember back in the day, like when Allen Houston was a free agent, the New York Knicks were on his front porch at 11:59 p.m. Before the midnight. You know, like that.
I remember those days.
That kind of those kind of days. Jim Schwartz for the Lions when he was hired in Detroit on the front porch of Kyle Vanden Bosch or whatever. You know, I mean, is there that guy out there, even if he's not a home run hitter, somebody that Troy Weaver is going to make a point? He's putting his focus into X player here to grab him to come to Detroit.
Well, now this is limited because of the Joe Harris trade, because that's $20 million of the probably $30 million that they had. So they can't go out and get somebody else without making another deal. So again, I think that's the thing. Is there are other moves that are coming. This isn't it. They're not going to start the season with this roster. They've got to move at least one or two other people to clear up some cap space to do some other things. I think Jeremy Grant is that type of player. He can come in and start immediately. And a lot of Pistons fans are rolling their eyes and saying, we've been there, we've done that. That was a different roster. That was a different time period. And anybody who's dated knows it's time and place. There's a specific time. You met somebody 20 years ago or 30 years ago that would have been really good for you, but it just wasn't the right time.
Oh, man.
So, Braylon, feel me on that.
You take him. You see, I said, "Oh man, you took me back on that one. You took me back."
Braylon's about to start
Exactly.
crying over here, Rod.
Hey, look, man. Sometimes you're not ready for a situation. You're
She's
absolutely
still
right on that, right?
or the situation's not ready for you.
Hey, there you go.
So that would answer my next question. You do believe that Jeremy Grant and Cade Cunningham can coexist currently? Now
Yeah.
they can.
Yeah.
I think so, especially defensively. I think
Fair enough.
Grant's defensive side was something that they missed last year.
Right, here's a question for you. The three big men that Detroit is focused on right now, James Wiseman, Jalen Duren, and Marvin Bagley III. Which one of those big guys is the guy that you're most willing to see this upcoming season or even early on in preseason basketball? Which one of the three and why?
I'm excited about Jalen Duren. I think he is going to be a fantastic big man in this league, especially if he develops a perimeter game and he can shoot even kind of a mid-range jumper. That would be a big piece of his game. But I think he's got a tremendous lob threat with Cade Cunningham, and defensively he's only learning and growing there. I think he's your starter going into day one next year.
Hey, Rod, just looking around the NBA as a whole, you know, Draymond Green is out there. Chris Middleton is out there. You've got Kyrie Irving and James Harden, of course, picked up his player option, but with an assurance that he'd be traded. Where do you think those guys end up? Is there a splash to be made in the NBA as a whole?
Yeah, I think the James Harden saga is going to be very, very interesting to watch. And then Kyrie just carries his own drama with him in a carry-on. But I can't see Draymond Green being anywhere else but Golden State. That would be just the weirdest thing ever. We've come to know him synonymously with Golden State and those championship teams. But that's why the NBA is so good in the offseason, is because it has this kind of this drama that's there. No matter where guys go, it's going to be something you didn't expect, and it's going to carry a storyline with it.
Hey, Rod, I got one for you. Are we going to still see is Killian Hayes going to be on this team when the season starts?
No, I don't think so.
There we go.
Wow. Where's he going?
I think his days are numbered. When they drafted Marcus Sasser, that signaled to me that they were trying to make some contingency plans just in case they were able to move him.
How about Beef Stew?
Stu, I think, is a long-term stay. Unless you get something that you just can't refuse, that I think he's a guy that stays.
What is it about Beef Stew that you can't refuse? And this isn't coming from no.
Comes as Max Seal.
This is not coming from a place of hate or a place of putting Rod Beard on the spot. This comes from a place of looking at it and analyzing. I know going into last season, he wanted to focus on shooting the three-point more. Did not have a great three-point shooting percentage and didn't really shoot the three. To be honest, he didn't trust himself. I just look at him as an undersized big in this league that lacks the guard skill. So what is his value to the Detroit Pistons, if you will, Ryan? This is coming from an ignorant individual in this particular subject.
I think he fits the smaller center and maybe power forward sort of piece. And if you have him and Durant on the court at the same time, you're going to get a ton of rebounds. But I think that extension for him to play on the perimeter a little bit more is still developing. And you see it's there. When you think of a Bam Adebayo, he's that type of player that can be athletic, can be physical. But I think he's your mean guy. He's your goon that if something happens on the court, he's going to be in the middle of it. He's your muscle. He's your Rick Mahorn or your big
we saw that against
court
the
and to be
Lakers.
your enforcer. Yep, absolutely.
100%. Here's a quick fun one. With ESPN letting go of Jalen Rose, I know Jalen Rose's relationship with Tom Gore is much like you do. Is there any chance that Jalen leaves ESPN behind and the sport thing altogether and works with the Detroit Pistons in the front office? We know how much he loves the Pistons. We know the history of him, and we know the relationship with he and Tom Gore. Humor me, if anything.
No, I think you'll see him at a few more games because he'll have a little bit more time on his hands. But I don't know if he takes a front office role. I don't know if he has the background. And again, if you didn't see Chauncey Billups come back and take a front office role or a coaching role, there's kind of a line that you got to get in to do that.
That's a good point.
All right, Rod, I do this to you every time at the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. I'm taking the Celtics to win the NBA championship in 23-24. Who you have?
Oh, put me on the spot, man. I'm going to run it back and say the Denver Nuggets go back-to-back.
Nuggets.
Okay.
Jokic. The unsexy pick, but the very logistical true pick. Very understood.
Thanks, Rod.
Rod, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for being there. Assistant Sports Editor, Detroit News, on Twitter at @DetNews, Rod Beard. Subscribe to the Detroit News. Rod, thanks so much, my friend. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks.
Have a
Thanks,
great
guys.
weekend.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy the
buddy.
Fourth.
You too.
The air out here
Absolutely.
sucks.